Hello, good morning. Today I'm planning to attempt cryptic number 374 from the Hindustan Times crossword. It is by Thinkerbelle, who also sets as pixie dust in the Hindu. First clue 7 across, city was in chaos after battle. So I think this is Warsaw. Battle is war, and wars and chaos indicates wars as being anagrammed. So Warsaw seems right. I love it when I get the first clue that I look at. Having sown in gold to an extent is owning. Having is owning. Sown in gold to an extent indicates it's a hidden clue. Guess I am inside 10. That is estimate, I think. 10 must be estate, probably. We haven't looked at that clue yet, but that is a good chance of that. Because usually, when you cross reference clues from the same puzzle, you can use a number in a misleading fashion. In this case, I hadn't solved 10, but then I figured based on the definition that is guess. Even tempered sufferer says this could be a double definition for something that's even tempered and could also indicate sufferer. Could also indicate something that is even letters, but then there's not enough of that to go around, and there is no A anywhere in sight. So I don't think it's any kind of letter selection there. Let's try 9 across. Periodically admit fantasy for separation. So again, this is a regular letter selection. Periodically admit could be AMT or it could be DI. And then fantasy is a word for fantasy, that could be vision, and then separation is division. 11 across, wind up resentment and compromise. This could be wind up could be wind up, wind could be gas, and up could be a reversal of that, although there's an across clue where that doesn't really work, but then that could be one way of looking at it. So we need something for compromise. Come to that. I want it to be assuage, but I don't think it is compromise or correct either. Cold revulsion we hear for costume. Cold revulsion we hear. This is a homophone clue for some word for revulsion, and then cold is usually C. So you put that together, you could get a word for costume. The word for costume starting in C. Couture, for example, is costume, but then it's not, it could be costume, but it's not got enough letters. Obstruction in extravagant grants. So this could be an anagram. Let's see, this is 3 plus 4, 7 plus 4, 11 plus 13. Yeah, obstruction in, anagram of obstruction in to get a word that means extravagant. I probably need, that could be one way, or it could be an insertion of a word for obstruction inside a word for extravagant to mean grants. I think we will need some more letters. We should be able to get that. Let's see, 4 down. Girl concluded Weasley for one, a rebuffed administrator. So girl is G, concluded is over, Weasley for one is Ron, and rebuffed indicates reversal, administrator is governor. I threw up, becoming more pale. I threw up, becoming more pale. This looks like some kind of a reversal because, like I said earlier, up is generally a reversal indicator, and becoming more pale is whiter. It can also be anagram indicator because up in the sense of excited is also an anagram indicator. So I threw up is indicate anagram, and becoming more pale is whiter. Annoyed master leaves Denmark desperately. So here it is, master is M and it leaves Denmark, so you have the rest of the letters, and then that needs to be anagram to mean annoyed. I think it could be knocked. We could check it in the dictionary whether that means annoyed. Knock. Yeah, knocking, knocked is to annoy. Yeah, knock is to annoy. So that's correct. Knocked. Substitute discovered bank note there. Substitute discovered bank note there. Here it is discovered is indicating that the first and the last letters are being removed. Bank discovered will be an, note discovered will be OT, and there discovered will be HER, and together another means substitute. Cold revulsion we hear for costume is clothing. We hear C is cold and loathing is revulsion, so that's correct. Let's look now. So that nice corner got finished. Let's now look at, I think, 13 across. Looking back to halo surrounding English representative. Looking back must be the definition. Halo could be ring surrounding English and representative. So English could be E, and then re something something representative. We need something that means representative. It's most likely, although it looks like a noun, it's most likely an adjective here, but we'll see. Most curious about one, most boisterous. So I want it to be nosiest. Okay, nosiest is the most curious about one, so it's going around one, and most boisterous is noisiest. So that does end in ing, I think so. See 20 across. Label broken nail deadly. Label broken nail is deadly. So I think here it's a word for label, and then anagram of NAIL, and to mean deadly. So we need a four-letter word for label, and then this is followed by an anagram of nail. Alert vehicle with explosive fuel. Again, I think it is car is vehicle and explosive fuel is anagram of fuel. So that's careful. And I think this is broken nail is something inal to mean deadly. We'll get to that. How devil survived. How devil survived is, I think, a reverse anagram. And survived is outlived, and it's telling you out of lived is giving you devil, which is a reverse anagram basically. Free ration eligibility scheme criteria under examination to begin with. This looks really like a acrostic. So if you take the first letters of all those words, you get rescue, RESCUE, which means free. Okay, let's see 21 down. Give back extremely rare spouted teapot. So give back is return, and extremely rare is R and E, which are the extreme letters of rare, R and E beginning and end. Spouted T is when you have T uttered, it's a homophone for T, which is T, and pot is earn, and give back is basically return. We'll go for this quarter where we have not touched anything. Gruel, girl eats intermittently in repentance. So this is REGRET, regret, which is basically taking alternative letters. Taking intermittently indicates alternative letters. We could have gone GUL also, we just got lucky and we went regret. Helplessness of the French couple. The French is usually LE, and helplessness of, so it's indicating the definition is helplessness. The French and then couple. We could be wrong also, but we'll come back to it. So think of anything for helplessness starting with LE, let me know. Web producer from East London reportedly noticed that lady. Web producer, web producer is spider. So spider, East London is telling you it's Cockney usage, so her becomes and spider is how it sounds. So reportedly noticed, spider. Let free connectors and bars. Let free connectors and bars. Hmm. This could be something that means bars, and I think lead free here could be lead free, which means without the first letter. So, a word for connectors, which if you remove the first letter, you get something that means bars, could be the correct answer. But I can't think of anything right away, so we'll come back to that. Spooner's extra responds surreptitiously. So, spooner clue involves switching syllables of the first syllables of the two words or pair of words, or the first part of the second part, depending upon how the clue is. Now, Spooner's extra means a word that means extra, or a phrase which means extra, or a compound word that means extra, needs to be spoonerized to mean, and it could be either just extra or extra response to mean surreptitiously. Surreptitiously, secretly, for example. That's a 8-letter word that can mean that. Extra response. Not sure yet. I probably need some crossings for that. This is a long one and it's an anagram, so we need to figure this out. Obstruction in extravagant grants. Con. So obviously is con. Contributions. Contributions are grants. Right. I love it when the anagram works without me having to write it down, just because I guess I'm lazy. Label broken, nail deadly. So I can only think of terminal. Terminal possible. It works. Looking back to halos surrounding English representative. Looking back must be remembering. So English is E, member is representative, and ring, that's halo surrounding it, and looking back is remembering. Erstwhile girlfriend learnt about alien. So erstwhile girlfriend is X, learnt about telling you that you need to anagram it, alien is external. Okay, then we have this wind up, resentment, and compromise. Compromise, resentment could be anger, and wind up is telling you a word for wind or wind is being reversed. And compromise, we need something for compromise, that is or it could be just endanger, but endanger I don't think is compromise, because wind up can be end something. I'm not sure, but that could be it. Even tempered sufferer. Even tempered and sufferer. Sufferer, we need a synonym for sufferer that also means even tempered. Who's a sufferer? Sufferer. That helplessness of the French couple. I think it is despair. Des is also the in French, I guess, and couple is pair, so despair is helplessness, works fine. Lead free or lead free connectors and bars. So we need something for bars, which is okay. Spooner's extra response surreptitiously. Owners respond surreptitiously. Could be lies his response, and surreptitiously could be in secret. Can't owners extra. So what could be a word for extra or extra in response? Extra response could be says something. Says is response. Extra is something for more. Something also is extra, and surreptitiously. Want surreptitiously. We need something that means response surreptitiously. Mm, yes, yes could be. So this could be something in yes. Bonus extra. Assuming that we have the S sound, it could be sideways, and wide says okay. Sideways, I guess, surreptitiously, sideways, and wide says. So wide is an extra, and response is says. Okay, that works. Let free connectors and bars. Let free, I think, is the first letter is missing in my opinion. Of course, it could also refer to the chemical symbol for lead, but then I don't think that's what it is. So we need something that means bars. So could be, can only think of ridges. Okay, bridges are connectors. If you take the lead or the first letter out of that, you can get ridges, which are bars. So that works for me. We'll have to see if it's right later. So wind up, um, resentment, and compromise. We had said it could be endanger. I think check whether endanger can also mean compromise, or there's a better word that has a reversal of wine. To put something, okay, compromise as in that sense. So to compromise something is to put in jeopardy. So yeah, compromise. That does work. So endanger is right. Just we're a little uncertain about it is a active compromise to endanger. Okay, so all we are left with is one clue: even tempered sufferer. Even some tempered sufferer. Mm, what could be a word for sufferer? And it's also even tempered. Something that is patient. Patient could be. A patient is a sufferer, and patient means also that they are quite okay. Oh, we have some letters wrong. So which one did we get wrong? Let's see if we just. It's a typo. This happens sometimes. Warsaw Clothing Division Estate. There we go. We have return, and that's it. So that was a nice crossword. Good workout. All kinds of clues in this. So thank you, Thinkerbelle, and thank you, Hindustan Times.